The state of California wants to help you become a homeowner now. And it may be different than some of the programs you've seen in the past, but it may work for some people. So they officially launched the California Dream for All program. So this program was initiated to make homeownership more affordable for low and moderate income families. So the Dream for All program is a revolving shared appreciation loan program that provides loans for a down payment. Upon sale or transfer of the home buyer repays their original down payment loan plus a share of the appreciation in the value of the home. Now, before I break down exactly what that means, I want to give you a few details on the program. First is that in order to qualify, you have to be a first-time home buyer. So to be classified as a first-time home buyer, you have to have not owned a home within the last 3 years. So either fall in the category of never owning a home before in the past, or maybe you've owned a home in the past, but you sold it, but it's been 3 years since that sale. Either one of those work, and both of those qualify you as a first-time home buyer. So when it comes to loan, the loan they're using is a conventional loan. So you'll need a minimum of a 660 credit score and at least a debt to income ratio of 45% or lower. So to make things as easy as possible, just Google debt to income calculator. And whatever one pops up, use that, and that'll help you determine what your actual debt to income ratio is. And as far as income goes, there is an income limitation based on the county you live in. So here's a chart you can screenshot. So what you want to do is look for your specific county, and it'll tell you exactly what's the maximum household income you can earn and still qualify for the program. And I would definitely say these income limits are more on the higher side if you were to compare them to some of the programs in the past. In addition to that, you must complete 2 levels of home buyer education. So once you complete those courses, you'll get a certificate, and without that certificate, you won't qualify for the program. And the main reason they have you do this is because the complexity behind this plan. And you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. They want you to know for sure what you're getting into if you participate in this program. Another thing is that the home you purchase must be a single family, 1-unit residence. So they're really trying to make sure it's just one home and you're the one that's going to live in it. So those are all the basic requirements. And since this program is fairly new, there is a chance some of these things can change. But at least you'll have a foundation of understanding. And lastly, California allocated about $500 million to this program. So mathematically speaking, there's only going to be a few thousand people that are going to be able to take advantage of this program, because that money's going to run out pretty quickly. So now that we got those details out the way, I want to show you an actual visual of how this program really works. So in this example, we're looking at a home that's worth $500,000. And I understand homes can be a lot more than $500,000 in California. We're going to use that number to keep the math simple and easy to understand. So through this program, you can receive up to 20% as a down payment for this home. Technically, you can use that 20% to cover a portion of your down payment and a portion of your closing costs. But for this example, we're going to assume you can use that entire 20% strictly for your down payment. So the Dream for All program is actually going to give you the $100,000 you need for the 20% down payment. Well, actually, they're not giving you the money, they're loaning you the money. And you'll see what I mean in a minute. So the portion that you'll be personally financing would be the $400,000. So we have $100,000 coming from the program and $400,000 that you'll have to finance. So now we're going to fast forward 5 years to show you an example of what it would look like if you were to sell your home. So now from our example, you can see that the home value has appreciated to $640,000, which is an appreciation amount of $140,000. Now, this is one of the most important parts you'll have to understand regarding this program. So because California loaned you 20% for your down payment, they will automatically have a 20% share of your appreciation. So as you can see from the $140,000 of appreciation, $112,000 of it goes to you as the homeowner, and $28,000 of it goes to the state of California, which is equivalent to 20%. And that's important to understand because regardless of how much equity you've gained, 20% of that will need to be given away. Well, actually, there is a cap on how much appreciation they could take, which is 250% of the original loan amount. Well, it's very unlikely you'll hit that cap, so in your mind, you might as well associate that 20% of that equity is going to go towards the state of California. The next important factor you must understand is that in addition to that 20% equity you must give California, you'll also be required to pay back the initial 20% they gave you as a down payment. So you can see from this example that the home sold for $640,000 and the first mortgage of $375,000 was paid off. Then from there, you pocket $142,000, which is a combination of that $112,000 of appreciation and the $30,000 of mortgage paydown. Because remember, as you were making your monthly mortgage payments, you were starting to build equity in that home. And lastly, The California Dream for All program will receive a payback of $128,000. And that's a combination of the original $100,000 they loaned you from the beginning and the $28,000, which is their 20% share of the appreciation. So I think this gives you a good visual representation of what the entire process could look like for you. So of course, no program is perfect, so I definitely wanted to highlight some of the advantages and some of the disadvantages I find with this program. The first advantage is the fact that it helps you buy a home. And by getting help with the down payment, you eliminate a lot of people's largest hurdle. So that's a huge benefit. Because financially, you may be in a position where you can actually afford the monthly mortgage, but you don't have $100,000 you can drop as a down payment. So this program completely wipes out that concern. The next benefit is you can actually use that money for either the down payment or for the closing costs or for both. But obviously, if you use some of that money for the closing costs, you're going to reduce the amount of money you have for the down payment. So you'll definitely have to weigh your options when it comes to that. And that down payment will also cause you to have a lower loan amount, which means you'll have a lower monthly mortgage payment. And the fact that you'll have no PMI insurance helps you keep your monthly mortgage payment as low as possible. Another thing it does for you is it increases your buying power. And that's extremely important when you live in California because home prices are expensive. And lastly, you won't be required to make any monthly payments on the loan you use for your down payment, which by the way is interest-free. So technically giving up that 20% of appreciation would probably put you in the same ballpark if you had to pay interest on that loan, because the depreciation is going to be somewhere around 5 to 6% anyways. So those are some things you definitely want to take into consideration. Because if you really think about it, if it wasn't the state of California, if it were a business partner or something like that, and they said they would give you $100,000 to cover 20% of your down payment, but in return, they wanted all their money back plus 20% of appreciation gain, I honestly wouldn't say that's unfair. Because again, without their help, I wouldn't be able to buy the home anyways. So those are just a few benefits I think you gain when you use this program. Now on the flip side, one thing you must be aware of is that if you were to sell, refinance, transfer, or pay off the home, that loan must be paid off in full plus 20% equity. And the reason that's important to know is because if you're stuck with an interest rate that you don't want to be in, you won't be able to just refinance out of that knowing that you have to still pay somebody $100,000 plus the equity. So you could potentially be stuck with an interest rate that doesn't work for you at all. And that would really hurt if interest rates were to go down. The next thing is that this loan may allow you to purchase a home that you can't really afford, because all the calculations of your mortgage will be based on the amount after the down payment was removed. So that additional 20% doesn't count as debt on paper, even though you technically owe somebody $100,000. Another thing you have to realize is that even though California will be sharing in the home's appreciation upwards to 20%, they won't be covering 20% of the property taxes or 20% of the insurance. That's completely your responsibility 100%. And the last thing is that if you live in your home for 30 years and you end up paying off your mortgage completely, you're not free and clear. Because now you've triggered the repayment of the original down payment plus an additional 20% in equity. And we're talking equity that's built up over 30 years here. So more than likely you'll have to refinance to pull the money out to pay off California, and then that causes you to have to start all over with a brand new mortgage. So those are just a few things you definitely want to consider if you have any interest in this program at all. But you definitely don't want to spend too much time thinking about it because like I said before, the funds are limited and they will run out soon. And once the program fully gets going, I'm sure other details will come out. But either way, I definitely recommend you speak with a professional and you always read the fine print. So I hope this video was helpful, and I'll definitely make other videos as they announce further updates. So make sure you share this video with everyone you know in California. Subscribe to the channel for more financial content, and I will see you in the next video.